All right, we're back. It is the quantum panel. I had chores to do. Oh, wait. Much better, kind of. I had chores to do, so didn't get all the setup done. So I'm still passing out links. So bear with me. I am passing out links to join. Links to watch are already out. Hey there, Justin A. Angler. Welcome back. I'm passing out links on other meanings. So, hey, Tim, hold on. Didn't get to pass the link out like I wanted to. Had to get my clothes out. Had to get my clothes out of the dryer. So, sending links. And this time it's going to be on Facebook Messenger. And I'm doing that. Yeah, I got me and Amy filled up with coffee. Let's see here. There you go. All right. And give me a working on it still. Sending out links. There you are, Frank and Lynn. I'm literally on the show right now as I'm sending you this link. So that's why I'm not typing out a big thing, right? There we go. And come on. Shadow has the key. Keith, if you are able, I know you're not feeling good. So if you are able, pop in for a moment. Link is out to you. Okay. And let's see here. Looking for Joe. What's that? Joe, link is, I'm literally on the show as I'm sending out links. So there you go. All right. Yeah. Keeping perspective. Okay, links are sent. Is anybody coming in yet? Not yet. Okay. All righty then. Justin, Lynn, check Facebook Messenger. It's sent to you now. Crafting Gamer, hey. Okay. And yeah, Intergalactic, Justin. Justin, got an update for you about my personality manifestation. It went over to somebody's house and acted like a poltergeist. Explain that one. Yeah, that stuff doesn't happen with a personality manifestation that's all in my head, does it, Justin? And there were very specific messages involved, not to be given away here. Hey, Diane. Okay. Okay, got to unload the truck. Yeah, don't let the show will be here. So have at it. So links are passed out. So do we got good sound check? Yeah. Okay. See, I knew that would be your response. It's weird. I can't explain it. All in my head. Shh. Whatever. I knew that's what you would say. Well, I can't explain that. It's not up to me to explain that. Yeah, things can really happen, especially when those things identify themselves as a certain individual. Spirit guide. And yeah. Oh, those things can happen. It's weird. You have no idea. You have no idea. Your gaming instincts will work on the quantum realms, okay? Those will help. Mm. Who is here? Looks like Lynn is coming in the door.
Hi there. Hi.
Hello, Lynn. How are you tonight?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good deal. I'm doing pretty good. I got feedback from the show tonight already, and it's good. People say I'm high energy. They like the lighting, even though it's this.
Yeah, it was fine. And you were a little concerned about that little square that you hid. Don't be. You couldn't see it.
Okay, well, I don't need to go there at all. I don't need that. I don't need that being on there on anything because there are
No.
very big rules about that.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I just well, you saw some of the or all of the first hour.
I saw all of the first hour.
Excellent. So, keeping perspective is very difficult when you're having stuff go on all
It,
around you,
it is.
trying to bandwagon you.
Yeah. You know, a lot of, the three main rules, right? Energy in, energy out.
Yeah.
Be true to yourself.
Hmm.
Do for others as you do for yourself, right?
Right. Yes.
And of course, you're worth it. And I'll tell you what, I really watched those things. I've been very depressed this week. It's been a difficult week. So and of course, we come on here, we're all rah team, and everything's good, everything's wonderful. But it's real life.
Yeah.
There are things that go wrong in our lives. There are things that go absolutely to crap, and then there are things that are devastating. And keeping a positive perspective about that is so important.
Yeah. And
And the best of us that are at this can lose perspective real quick. We
mhm,
really can.
keeping the perspective of not necessarily good or bad, but what are you doing? What is the point? And
Yes.
the rules, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's hard to hang on to that one when
Oh
faced
yeah.
with some kind of adversity, you know. And so
Well,
many people get to be the survival mode, the rescue mode, the uh
yes.
I'm gonna do you in, so I dog eat dog mode.
They
And I'm
kind of
like,
mess up and say, "I'm going to do to you before you do to me."
right, that's not the rule.
No, it's not right.
Mm-mm.
I think one of the best ways to regain perspective when things have gone to heck in a handbasket is to sit down. If you don't have 10 minutes for a meditation, that's fine. Take an hour. Um, and I mean that. I know it sounds ridiculous, but sometimes you got to find you first before you can reach out to anybody else. And
Hmm.
in that meditation, of course, you look at the circumstances. It's very hard to get your mind off of that, but say, okay, I'm now going to put that aside, and now I am going to say, I am worth it. Okay, that's a biggie around here. The next thing you say is uh, I will be true to me. What is my truth? What is that? How does that work for me? You know,
Hmm.
some people, their truth is quite complicated. Others, it's very simple. No, but understanding who you are in the midst of all this mess is going to take you a lot farther than not. You'll
Hmm.
find yourself doing things that offend you on a soul level if you do not know who you are.
Yeah.
And you offending you is the worst thing you could do. you know?
Hmm. Okay, well, you know what? Let's take this chance. Welcome everybody in the chat room. We got Intergalactic Angler, Big Cat walking in the door, and Edgar with the Super Pancake Man.
All
Jessica
right.
Paquette, thanks for making the show, Jessica. Justin, I said hi to you, and Quantum, hello. I'm doing the Diane Boss, Lynn, and here comes Raven coming in the side stage. All right.
There she is.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, Raven.
Hey.
Hi. You hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Sound is good.
Good, 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 good.
Alrighty
Got my
then.
coffee ready to rock and roll.
Same here.
Lady Gray.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers, all.
Oh, I just bought some of that. I haven't tried it yet.
Mm. I love it. It's very refreshing.
I'm going to switch over to tea. I've been doing way too much coffee and having
I'm
these
thinking about doing the
stomach
same.
aches. And so a friend said, yeah, you're probably needing to back off the coffee a little bit.
I used to be a coffee fiend. I would drink 4 pots a day if I drank a drop. And I realized it was interfering with my blood levels. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I was getting irritated with people for no apparent reason. A lot of these things are organic.
So there's probably a reason, but you know.
Oh, yeah.
Nathan, have you had your blood pressure checked?
Not lately. I've got the checker over here. I need to do that. Like,
Okay.
at some point.
Right. Well, Cindy reached out to me and got a hit that you need to check your blood pressure.
Okay.
So
I can do that.
Yeah.
It's probably high. I didn't take my meds today because I woke up so late and I was like, I got stuff to do.
Yeah, your energy's different tonight. It has been. I could tell.
Bit more hyper than usual.
Well, there's I will have to go off stage to tell you about it, Lynn. But it's a big deal. And I mean, not life changing, but Raven, you know about it. And I cannot talk about it open air, right? And I probably will need to send you an encrypted email about it, Lynn, because I'm scared to talk about it on any kind of internet. But whatever.
It's not you people in the chat. It's not you good folks in the chat. That's not.
It's nothing to do with the show. The Woo talks back, and that's all. I'm done.
Did you offend Elon Musk? What have you done?
No. Elon Musk wishes he had this in. He wishes he had this little circuit.
Yes.
Perspectives, right?
Mm-hmm.
We, whenever we get our boat rocked, and of course, right now it's stormy seas, whether it's the stuff in Hawaii or stuff here in the United States, at whichever end of the coast you prefer, or right smack in the middle. There's stuff brewing and stuff being torn up, tossed around, the rest of it, whether it's man-made disaster, nature.
Mm-hmm.
We have got to realize that this is life. And if we continue to allow ourselves to be thrown around and affected for long periods of time, it's not wrong to be upset by something for 5 minutes. Not at all. Maybe 10. If it's truly earth-shattering, give it an hour. But return to your personal peace.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you will drive yourself absolutely batshit. And you will accomplish nothing doing it.
Hey there, Shadow.
Hello.
Hey, folks. How you doing?
Hi.
Sorry, I'm fashionably late as always.
Hey.
Whoever put that together? I don't understand that. Fashionably late.
Put what together? Oh.
Weren't those Karens?
There's no late around here.
I don't know. I'm not admonishing you, Shadow.
No worries, no worries.
Fashionably thing.
So who do we have in the chat tonight? Edgar, thanks for subscribing. Zach, Reality Check, Intergalactic, Jessica, Shelly, a whole bunch of people. Nathan's here.
Yeah, we got a
in the chat. Justin got here before me.
Oh, there's quite a row.
Big
I hope
cat. Oh my
Everest
gosh, we
bought
got
Yeah,
some
full house.
earlier.
pancakes. I'm hungry.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people showed up, and that's awesome.
Yeah, we're
And
doing
I'm going to
great.
try to keep it. Yeah, earlier,
Doing great.
23 people.
Nice.
At one time, 23 people in the chat. And I'm happy about that. That's
Yeah,
good.
thanks guys for stopping by my show. It was interesting to say the least. Got a little spicy toward the end, but it always does.
Yeah.
I missed that
Serving
part.
jalapeno poppers, are you?
No,
I
just
did.
some. Go for it, Nathan.
I did stop in and say hi,
I appreciate that.
but I wasn't going to interrupt your show, so
Oh, no.
like, all right, hi, see you soon. Keeping it quantum over here.
So, your topic, perspectives,
Yes, perspectives are,
like
we can
cats.
only work, huh?
Like
What?
cats. A cat perspective.
Yeah. I have been inundated all week with influences of trying to get me on their bandwagons, and I don't do that. I do, you all know I don't do that. And I went through the list of whose side I am on. It's like everybody who's got a show that is friends of the show, that's my side, and we're all quantum and objective. I'm not on anyone's side. And so many, for real, so much trying to sway opinion, give false information. I'm talking blue beam, ufology, the politics. Oh my God, Hawaii, and that stuff with the Rock and Oprah. And I'm like, oh my God, all of this is. I feel like I want to be distracted. It's very appealing. It is. It's very tempting to go on a crusade for some of this
That's why
stuff. But
you gotta have a hobby outside the hobby, if you know what I mean, and sort of a sanctuary. Like your action figures. I would anytime you feel overwhelmed like that, Raven, sent you some stuff. Linan, I'm sure you've got crafts or things you could just zone out, block it all out, and just go. That crap don't matter right now for this hour or 20 minutes or whatever you got to spare. Just do your thing and let it all just wash over you. And I bet you come back with a better perspective. Hey, nerd, thanks for popping in from my show.
Actually,
hey,
my
nerd.
hobbies make me nervous and upset, and I scream at them often.
Yeah, what I say,
I know the
it
feeling.
doesn't matter if you get mad at drying paint.
Yeah.
It doesn't care.
I was
Yeah.
literally doing that tonight. I was painting something. I done this. I did one step, and then I'm like, I'm going to do this other thing and try this new thing out. And I'm like, crap! It did not turn out the way I wanted, and now I have to start all over. But it's paint. You just paint over it, right?
Paint over it. Yeah. It with the incredible amount of stress that everyone has, right now, and I do mean everyone, whether it's on a political level, whether it's on a personal level or a religious level. Sometimes those are the worst because certain crowds will try to say, hey, wait a minute, you're not doing this right. Well, if you have peace in your heart and you're happy in your home and your loved ones, you're doing it right. You got it. And if you're not, you need to be searching the thing that does bring peace and happiness to your house.
Yeah, and things that are outside of us are really hard to not let them manipulate us. Meow.
Yeah.
And
see, there's got to be an opinion from the sidelines every time.
Yeah.
But we've had some unhappiness here this week, and well, devastation. A
Sorry.
one of our family members' spouse's brother passed away,
Sorry
and
to
a
hear that.
very young man.
Mm.
Uh, been headed this direction for a long time, and you can do all you can do for someone like this, and for their loved ones, because when that's happening to you, you never see the fact that it is happening to your family and to your friends because they get to watch the show. So we lost Nathan for a moment.
I'm
He'll be
still
back.
here.
Okay. But we lose somebody like that, and it doesn't affect one person, it affects many, and it's a ripple effect. Now this I'm once removed from that individual, but I still feel immense sadness that this happened to them. Oh, well, anyway,
Mhm.
the I caught it, and I get caught by things happening next to me. But
Ah,
when these things happen, and they'll happen to every single one of us at one point or another in our lives. And we have to bring ourselves back to center and say, okay, am I all right? Truly, am I okay? Examine it. And I wasn't teasing about if you don't have 10 minutes to meditate, take an hour, because you are way too overwhelmed if you don't have that time. But look at that perspective for just a moment and ask yourself, how does this affect me right now? Who I am, what I stand for. Am I called to an action? If none of those things are happening, if you're okay, everybody around you in your immediate circle is all right. That is to say, they're not in any danger, and there's no call to action, then basically you're okay. Do you have to do something? It depends on how drastically that thing is in your sphere of ability to do something with. And if you can't, how much good can your focus on that thing do?
yeah. You'll get
Chances
angry.
are not much.
Yeah, you'll be able to get angry. You'll be able to be loud. But what good will that
Yeah.
do? All it's going to
And
do is
5 minutes
cause
to beat the
discord.
pillow.
Yeah, it's going to cause discord to those all around you. So
Hmm.
because
You
you're
don't.
going, this is not justice. This is not good. And who's going to, they're not involved. They're not involved. You're being affected by it. Now you are taking a bad vibe and spreading it to them. And you're
Well,
messing up their day.
you're entangling them into your drama.
Hmm. Now
And that
their
drama
stress
is
level is increased.
there for whatever reason, but it's your responsibility. Oh, wait a minute, you're not a victim, are you? It's your responsibility to bring that thing under control. If you can't bring it under control, remove yourself from the situation. Right then,
Walk away.
get
Walk
out of
away.
it. If you have to use the bathroom 5 times during that conversation, go use it. You know what I'm saying? Get away from it.
Yeah.
Wash
Mhm.
your face and hands and say, I got this. I'm
Yeah.
fine.
And
It's
yeah,
okay.
I mean, we've all had, it's been a heck of a week. I mean, I look at what's going on around in all, even the paranormal shows, and
Oh, yeah.
they're talking about the big thing in the paranormal news right now is the Peru mummies. We have already talked about that, Raven, and
That's
Yeah.
old news.
I am not.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't think they're real. right?
If Jaime's involved, it's another scam.
And
He was
somebody's
not
scamming
initially,
Jaime.
well, he was not initially involved. He came along into the thing later. But Gaia TV went down there with a film crew, and they were the first ones on the scene, and they did a, what was it, 7 or 9 part when you saw it, Nathan? You looked it
I
up
think
today.
it was 9 parts.
9 parts, yeah. It was called Unearthing Nazca, and it was in 2017. And see, there's another mummy. These 2 little ones that they're featuring were actually the sidekicks of a much bigger mummy that's really interesting. I suppose they're saving that one back for the next distraction, whatever. But yeah, and then everybody jumped on Gaia and tried to discredit them. And the only thing I can say to that is I believe that was just a way they discredited them so that the CIA and all the powers that be that are doing all of this need to control the narrative. They'll go to there's no bounds that they won't cross to control this narrative with the whole ET UFO thing. And they couldn't have somebody, like Gaia out there, somebody independent, not under their thumb, beating him to the punch, basically. And so they discredited him. But this other mummy is really interesting. It's got the elongated skull, just like the other mummies they have found in that area in Nazca. And they have, she has 3 really long fingers and 3 really long toes. And they did CAT scans, and the whole film crew was right there going through all of that verification stuff, trying to preserve the integrity of it all. And they did a really good job of it. But in the end, they were discredited. So then it's just kind of been lying there. And now all of a sudden, they're producing these 2 little sidekick aliens that they had found, along with they named the other one Maria. And they're trying to post this as like a new discovery. Like it's old news, totally old news. So therefore, there's your, to me, that is just more evidence and more proof of the whole
distraction.
Yeah.
Guiding
Well,
the narrative.
I think
there's always sorry guys. There's always a story they don't want you paying attention to.
That's right.
Yeah.
So which one is it? And that's
Is
the
it
one you
true?
got to ferret out.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few. I won't say anything anymore. I don't want
Me neither. I'm not saying anything
I
either.
I almost goofed there.
Again,
Yeah, I'm not going to
bringing
say
it back
anything either.
to center point, though. Let's bring it back to
Yeah.
center. Okay. See how easy that happened? It happened fast, didn't it?
Real easy.
That's
how easy.
That's how fast it happens.
Mhm.
And as an individual, as an adult, as a mature person, and I say mature because that isn't always the case with people, but as a mature person, you bring it back to center. Am I safe? Yes or no? I mean, if you need to put down a flow chart for yourself, by all means, work one. But am I okay? I'm okay. It's my life rocked. Well, yeah, it was. I didn't like that truth or that happening or that reaction. I didn't like that. It didn't fall within my parameters of my understanding and my acceptance. Okay, fine. We can look at that in a moment. Go down the line and see what it was that actually upset you. Is it the powerlessness of it? That's quite often, or helplessness. That pisses me off more than any of the rest of it. That there's very little I can do about it.
I don't particularly remember being asked, do I want to do all this garbage our leadership is doing? I wasn't asked about that. Was anyone?
No, and you won't.
I wasn't. Don't we?
Yeah, I know. Like you could go right off again, couldn't you? There you go.
Focusing.
Bring yourself back to center. Yeah, bring yourself back to center. And am I okay? Yes. I'm still alive. I breathe. I can do my job. I can
That's
do my
what's been
work.
helping me is taking
Right there.
Yeah, taking a
and it
moment,
works that way.
and I'm
Your
having to
kids
take
get
a
in
moment.
trouble. You don't have children. Wow, Shadow and I have kids. When they get themselves into a jam or into something that we don't approve of or don't like, we're worried. We're deeply concerned about their well-being. But are we personally okay? Yeah, except for that one thing. Okay, take your flow chart. What can I do about this? I can do something and then name it, or I can do nothing and name that too because it has a name. They both have pros and cons to them, and work the thing out like a jigsaw puzzle because that's what
Yeah,
it
with
is.
logic and go
Yeah,
with the decision.
yeah, and most females are very emotionally centered. I'm not. If I'm emotionally involved, I'm a mess and I can't do nothing. So I don't get emotionally involved. I make my flow chart. I say, okay, what the heck's going wrong here? And I work it out. What am I going to do about it? Do you know that
Hmm.
out of 10 problems, what I'm going to do about it is usually nothing? How about that? Call to action and can't do jack. You know, that's very irritating. But when you realize your true ability to deal with that one thing, probably can't. Out of 10 things, you might be able to affect one. Not effect. Effect is what happens.
Yeah,
Affect
effect.
is you making it happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and that is a good logical approach to something using you said flowchart.
Oh
And
yeah,
yeah, it's first, do I need to be involved? Yes or no?
that's a
There.
biggie.
That's one. No, if it's no, then go sweep the floor. Right? If it's
What
yes,
can I
then
do?
it's like, what is my involvement?
Mhm.
This or whatever. And then it it helps because we're all a little bit when emotions get really involved, we get irrational. Monkey
Yeah.
brain turns on and we want to go beat it with a stick, you know?
Well, my first inclination is to run through wall.
Okay,
I have done
okay,
that. And
right.
I
It's
have.
it's
I mean,
something,
I've gotten that worked up.
yeah, it's
But
something that is not necessarily good for us. So
no,
you got to calm down, say, okay, how are we going to deal with this? Because when you're emotionally strapped, then bad things can happen that have no good
well,
consequences,
a lot of times
effects.
if you're involved with, like, say, child raising comes to mind because I've had something of it. And, their reaction, and it's a little easier to put this in perspective that way too. Um, your kid is outside of your auspices, we'll say it that way, and your kid's an adult, ha ha. A lot of times they're not, but they are, and they've
Adulthood
got
means
the
nothing
ID
when
to
you're a
prove it.
parent.
Beg your pardon?
Adulthood means nothing when you're a parent. You're going to worry
Right.
until you can't worry anymore.
I got a 40 and a 32-year-old I worry about, and another one is 31. I worry about him less, but he's less in my face. I think that might be it. He has his own problems. But with
Get over
an
here.
adult kid, you can
Chewy.
offer advice, you can offer your
Chewy.
support, or just to be there for them. A friendly arm or friendly shoulder to cry on, as they quite often do.
Mm.
But there is nothing that you can truly do about it most of the time. It's their problem and theirs to work out. You can help them work it out. You can offer help. But hi, Cindy.
Hey, Cindy.
But by and large, once somebody's reached adulthood, their decisions are theirs. By and large,
Yeah.
when something goes to heck in a handbasket 2 counties over and you can't do anything about it, there's nothing you can do about it. You can
Yeah.
say,
The
"I'll
way
pray
we deal
for
with
you."
that.
I
Yeah.
think
The
that's
way we deal with
one thing
it.
that makes me crazy is people say, "Well, I'll pray, I send prayers and hope for you." I hate that.
Yeah. The
No,
the
don't
Facebook
do that.
logo.
You know,
Yeah.
if they
What
want
we.
that kind of help, they can ask for it. You know, pray
Mm-hmm.
for me. People do ask me for that, and then I'm happy to add them to the list. But
Hmm.
I don't offer it because that tends to tick people off
I've never met anybody like that.
that are ticked off by it.
Yeah, and if they do, I write them off my list.
Oh, don't do that. They're probably crazies like me who want to try to work it out themselves before they ask for help from the Almighty. You know,
Yeah, I'm in the suffer in silence type.
so there's some of those.
I don't know what to say about that. The
Yeah,
shallowness of putting up a logo is so just transparent. But well, that's manifestation, and they have asked. And if we're in the line to receive that question, like I said on the first hour, right? There was a guy at a gas station, and he had run out of gas, and he was upset because someone treated him like he was trying to rob them. He was he was gonna buy gas, right? And I guess he asked somebody, "Hey, man, my truck is broke. My truck is out of gas right here." And apparently, that person treated him like he was a mugger or something. He wasn't. He was
yeah,
just a dude with a truck, right? And I was put there to help him somehow, and
right.
I think I did. I don't have money for gas. He wasn't even he didn't even make it to the pump, right? He rolled into the parking lot,
Young
and
fumes.
Bummer.
yeah, it sucks.
Hey, not even
And
fumes. That sucks.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
he done used those up.
yeah, he was carrying a jug, saying, "Do y'all got the paper funnels?" And the new guy didn't know where they were. I did, so I went and got him a couple of funnels from the aisle. I go, "Here you go. They're in the aisle over there." And he thanked me, and I think that I took the edge off of whatever is going. Some of the edge. I took off some of the edge
You know,
because
so
yeah,
often that sort of outburst isn't about anything anybody did. It's how they were feeling about the situation
yeah,
and
been there.
their perceptions of it. Oh, we're back to that, aren't we? But
Hmm.
you know, when something
Perspective.
like that happens, and you pointed it out many times, and I don't think that you caught what you were saying. We're put in certain situations to teach us, well, how to deal with that situation, obviously, but also kindness and compassion and the ability to exercise it. Sometimes
Yeah,
we
and
can, and sometimes we can't.
yeah,
You
in
know,
that particular situation, I was given the choice of I had the information. Where was the funnel? And I said, "I'm sorry that happened, man. I hope things get better." And he was like, "Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it." And he got his gas and took off. And the cashier was like trying to act like some kind of a cop. Calm down, calm down. He was like giving him a command, and I was like, "Who is
that's
this
the wrong
guy?"
way to approach somebody like that.
Mm-mm. He was already upset, and I've been that guy. I've
I
been
have
that guy
too.
where, yeah, and I know what I wanted. And rule number 3: treat others how you want to be treated. And I did that. I was
Right.
like, "This is it. This is this is one of those times. This is one of them quantum moments put into my way for me to do the right thing." And there are several choices. What's the best? and I think I chose the best.
And
I
all
think I
of them
did.
were the right answer. Think about it. All of them were the right answer, except perhaps not doing anything,
Yeah, that's
particularly
a
when you
cop out.
felt led to do so. But,
Yeah, when a
you know,
situation puts in my face, I am not going to
mhm,
say not my problem. It's in my face. It's there for me one way or another.
right,
And when someone comes up and you're doing about your merry thing, the instinct in the way we all live is, oh, ignore it. I've got a schedule to keep, or I've got an
sure,
appointment. It's not there to keep your schedule, and uh, you're there for whatever reason. You don't need to know the reason at the moment. You'll figure that out later. And I was lucky enough to have the presence of mind to say, this is one of those moments that's been
right.
put to me. And I mean, I feel like I had the presence of mind. Maybe I don't know. That's what I did, right? I
In the
comforted him
grand,
a little bit. I give him the funnels. I was like, I
right.
hope it turns out. And I was looking at the dude, and luckily he didn't push the subject. The cashier, calm down, man, calm down. He just calmed down, and I'm like, who is this guy? New guy, shut up, new guy.
The guy at the cashier was looking to get throttled, and
Yeah,
that
he
could
was
have
looking,
happened
telling
easily if he
people.
hadn't diffused the situation.
Yeah, that's like assuming an authority.
Well,
No.
he had some. I mean, after all, he was in charge of making that store work. He
Well,
had
he's
some.
the manager was there also.
He
He
didn't
is in
need
charge of
to do
ringing
any.
that person up. The manager
Yeah,
was busy. So I kind of stepped in, and I like to think I took a little bit of the edge off. I don't know.
well,
But
he
I didn't
probably
hear
did.
no cops. So I didn't hear no sirens. So he didn't get so pissed off. And that's
Manager
good.
was satisfied you took care of it
hmm The
because
guy,
he was listening. I'm sure
yeah.
he was. But in the grand scheme of things, and I see it with kidders coming up too, that they do not have, they don't have their personal goals set. They don't have an idea and understanding of what they're capable of or what they can do from there. From and I
hmm
say from high school, uh, we have responsibility. Excuse me, responsibility and authority over them until they're 18 years old. Unfortunately, it's like they're waiting at the gate and pawing at it, But this is, if you can remember that time, all of us were. It's
hmm
just the way it is. But the big thing about being a teenager, we prepare to accept the responsibilities of life, and you've got to be shored up for that somewhat, or you're going to flounder. It's knowing who you are, what you're there for, what your goals are, how you intend to achieve those goals.
What you have to offer also, and
What
not
you
to
have to offer.
diminish your self-worth through someone
Yeah.
else's eyes.
Well, you look at yourself and you add tax, you know,
hmm
because if you let somebody employ you for minimum wage, you've done yourself a disservice. Now, that's something my father told me. I took very little of his advice and still don't. But that was a gem. That was a good piece of information, you know. So
hmm
I honor him where I can. The fact of the matter is that what's coming out of school right now has not been in school for 4 years. That's the truth of it. So we're having a little bit of a hassle. We're having to retrain people. We're having to train them uh, to social niceties because they haven't had a lot of that. Uh, Even those of us who are down during the lockdown, we haven't had much social interaction, and we're all pissed off about it. Came out of the gate mad as hell. All of us did.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody
Mm-hmm.
once locked up like that. But in the
Right.
interim, we forgot the social niceties, and those are there for a reason. They're there to keep us from killing each other. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
because we're all so spacey.
I'm still
So,
remembering those niceties
mhm,
because it's easy to forget them.
thank-
I'm still remembering, common courtesy and
yeah,
just not being
please,
angry.
thank
Don't take
you,
out my
thank you
stuff
for
on
that.
someone else. Yeah,
Hmm.
and
Don't be jumping
it's
up and down in the middle of your desk screaming and get coffee everywhere. Nobody likes it. Nobody will put up with it. Simple.
yeah,
We've been off the
and
hook today. Just off the hook. Just
Yeah.
really bad today.
I was out driving. I had two different people. I don't drive, Frank does, but two different people crossed 4 lanes of traffic to throw themselves in front of us. And
mm,
the first thought there, and I'm going to quote Joe Lawrenson on this one, is thank God I was there to let him in, so that there wasn't an accident.
mhm,
Whoa.
How many of us think about those things? We don't. We really don't.
mhm.
And sometimes I don't. It's like, good blank, blankety, blank, 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 can't you drive? Maybe they can't. Who knows?
Yeah.
But we do this to ourselves. We're not we are not injuring each other. We're injuring ourselves.
Mhm. Because
I
we
have
take
noticed
that.
in,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Raven. No, you go ahead.
I have noticed just a lack of customer service finesse. I mean, a lot of times I'll go through a drive-through or whatever, and I'm saying thank you to them, and it should be the other way around. Thank you for your business. Thank you. There's just no anywhere,
No
you
thought
know,
process.
and at least if you smile, you can smile. It's not going to hurt you to smile, but the miserable faces that I see going out to any store, any drive-through. I mean,
Oh
the
yeah.
majority, I'd say 80% of them, are really unhappy being there, and it shows, and they're not afraid to hold it back. They don't even try to be friendly or courteous and I'm just like stunned.
Then
I guess
you
I noticed
stop.
that because I was in customer service for so many
Right.
years, and it's just,
So so you stop and you refocus and get yourself back to center. Are you injured? Answer is
yeah.
usually no.
I
Are
just,
you offended? Yeah, definitely. Now
yeah,
you put yourself in the other person's shoes for just a second and say, why are they miserable? Oh, wait a minute. They just came off of 4 years of complete social isolation for many of us, and they have no manners. It will come in time. It will. It has to.
When I'm in that situation, I provide the example.
yeah,
Thank
Hmm.
you. You have a good
yeah,
one, okay?
yeah.
Smile,
That's true. Yeah.
Raven, you
drive
gotta go.
away.
You gotta go to Hobby Lobby more often. I have never met anybody in a bad mood in a Hobby Lobby.
I
Well,
have.
except that
Okay.
one time, but
Okay.
then I almost had to.
You knew I was going to say it. I have, you know, and I looked at him, and I mean, there was just a sudden little irritation there, and they're usually very nice, as you point out. And I ask him, "What's wrong today? You can talk to me, you know.
Hmm.
Just give it a minute.
You
Everything
could
will
probably
run."
get away with that. I'm pretty sure I could not.
You probably couldn't. I have a face that people tend to think of as, uh, oh, I don't know, sort of like your favorite old aunt. You can tell them anything. They're
Hmm.
not going anywhere with it.
Yeah.
And and they do. They will. I've had people unload some pretty amazing things on me, and been able to talk them out of suicide in that circumstance. Because you don't know what they're going through. You have no
Yeah.
clue.
I usually try to
So
cheer them up,
kindness
say
and
something.
compassion.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
do. I'm just stunned. I'm just amazed at the overwhelming vast majority of that. I don't usually go out if I'm in a really bad mood. 'Cause I know
I can't. I know that I'm going to
I
be
don't
a
want to
real
contribute
royal
and
nut.
add to it. I'll stay home. I'll run errands later when I'm in a better mood because your aura goes out about 50 feet. And if you're in a real doozy, I mean, it can go out even further if you're consciously trying to. I don't want to affect everybody in the grocery store with my, you know, pissy mood. So
Well,
I just
true.
go.
You can look at your pissy mood and say, okay, what am I feeling sorry for? What am I regretting? What's pissing me off?
Usually the cat's breaking
Yeah,
something.
yeah. And resolve to do something with that, and whether you do or not, that's fine. But you know, we forget how intensely our attitude affects others. We really
Good luck,
do.
Edgar. I'll talk to the boy.
Okay. That you know, the things that some of the I go shopping quite late at night because
Me too.
I am not able to deal with too big crowds. I get
Same here.
positively phobic of it.
I love him.
I knew you were going to say that. I think we're
I
just here
can't think.
to
I can't think of a
antagonize
better
each
place.
other.
I absolutely love interacting with people and finding out where they stand because I have a really good memory for people.
Hmm.
And if I say something, I can pretty much with one sentence I can figure out, which side of the you know S storm they're going to be when said S storm hits the fan.
I got Frank a shirt that says the S Storm supervisor, able to coordinate chaos at a single glance. And he can too. It's funny. But
Funny.
it's not easy at all at any age to deal with others. I don't care if you're 5 years old or 80. It's
Cindy
not
bragging
easy.
again. I seriously, I've seen those photos. You got it made out there.
Yeah, she's out in God's country. It's beautiful. It's like somebody from a travel
It has
magazine.
many perks and many things that are challenges in both ways.
Justin.
We tend to look at other people. Oh, you've got the big job.
I think
You've
Justin's
got the big
confusing you with a
house
guy
in
named
it.
Venger.
Yeah, we do that though. And what? You? Not a chance in hell. Anyway,
He's just being funny.
I'm closer to that than you are. Anyway.
Me too.
Yeah, really.
Oh my
But
gosh.
we
Yeah,
don't
he's just being
remember
a
what
smartass.
I think the thing years ago when I was working at a steel mill, I've had quite an experience of working, and we had a new medic. He was a physician's uh, associate, and he was also an RN. Most people look at a guy now in the nursing field or that, pretty well deal. They're fine with it. But a bunch of steel workers in Ohio at the beginning of that weren't so sure. They
Yeah.
treated him pretty rough there for a while. And I got mad at him and tore him a strip. And, he had, I forget what it was he did. It made me angry, though. And I told him, I said, this is not how you do this. I think it was something that was to do with sloppy paperwork. We don't do sloppy paperwork in healthcare. And you don't do it whether you're a nurse in a shop or you're in the hospital. You don't do it. But, you know, next morning, and I didn't know what he was facing in life. I'll say that up front. He had killed himself. He was hanging on by a thread and that thread broke. That was it. And I felt very responsible for that. And I deserved to feel that way, you know, but it taught me something to be very aware that the person that you're talking to is facing challenges you have no idea about,
Mm-hmm.
and to treat them kindly and gently. You might be the only person all day or all week or all month to have done so. That's a big responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying don't call them on it when they're being a jerk. I'm saying be kind with your words and choose them carefully. And it's easy to make these mistakes. And having made that
Yeah,
one,
it's
I
very
will not say I
reactive.
never made another one. I have made mistakes, but I never made one like that again. I think that haunted me for the best part of 10 years. But, you know,
Yeah.
that was his final straw, I'm sure, or something like it.
Mm-hmm.
You
But
know, I was put in a situation one time, and I think I've told y'all about this before. I'm not sure, but I had gone on a computer job. I was living in El Paso. Still, this is that long ago, right?
mm-hmm.
So probably 12 years ago, and I'd gone on a computer job, and it was stressful. And the person I was working with was just on my back, doing just move my icons. The cables aren't right, and I mean arranged right. That looks ugly. I'm like, I'm here to fix your machine, not make it look pretty, right? You make it look pretty. I make sure it's working and networking stuff. And I was just stressed, right? So here's what
Sure.
happened. Now, this is I was put in a situation, and here's what I know I shouldn't have been there. I went to behind this video game shop, and in like any video game shop, they throw stuff away that isn't up to their spec, and it's usually
Mhm.
cool stuff. I went dumpster diving that night. I shouldn't have. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. I shouldn't have been out in the middle of El Paso, in the behind the main street, in a bad place, right?
Wasn't
I
that
shouldn't have
fun?
been there. Oh boy. I was driving this pickup truck that I had at the
I
moment.
remember it.
And yeah, this is such a story. Okay. Dude, I'm looking Mr. Right. Yeah. Am I glitching?
Mm-mm.
We got clear transmission?
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're good.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at the dumpster and I hear, hey. I hear, hey. And here comes this guy, right? You could smell him. You could smell the tequila on him. Okay. He's far away and I could already smell the tequila on him. And he's walking up to me. Here's what he's doing. He's showboating his pistol. He walks up to me with a gun and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, I'm looking for stuff in a dumpster. I'm lucid now. I'm alert. Okay. And he goes, now, this is what trips people out. He goes, what are you looking for? And I go, whatever cool stuff they throw away. And he does this. Okay. Now I will, this, right. He gets on, now I'm here and he's leaning on his left hand, right? And he's going like this to me. His wrist is in that position. And he's got this thing right here in my face. Whatever you find, you're going to give to me. Okay, I took the cautious route. I had a I had a ultra bright flashlight, and I was doing like this, right? I had it away from me, away from anyone. I was doing like this. It's pitch black out there. I got the only blinding ass flashlight. Okay, I went through my head. He showboated his pistol on the way up. He ain't got no bullets, and if I do anything, he's going to take that 1.3 seconds to load his shit and take a shot at me. However, he's drunk as a skunk. Do I go get out of the way? You see what happened there? It blinded the camera. That's what would have happened to him. This is what went through my head. Blind him, move back, get the gun, then beat the shit out of him. Right? That was what went through my head. That was what I wanted to do. But something said, this is not your fight. And it was fear. Okay? Here's why this weighs down on me. Because now I walked away, right? He walked away. No shots were fired, nothing else. It left me a little shaken up. I went to the gas station, called the cops, reported it, whatever. And I don't know if this was the same person. But that night, a whole bunch of 7-Elevens got shot up, going from right there in that the one right there closest to it, all the way down Dyer Street. And it bothered me for years. Was I put there to stop this, and I let it happen? See, this bothered me because was I there? Did I not have my shit straight to risk? Because I had a life at the time, right? I had wife, kid, job, responsibilities, household stuff. I couldn't like get involved in something that would jeopardize any of that stuff. And so caution one, right? I didn't do that. I didn't beat him up, but that's what happened. I don't know if it's the same guy, right? But that happened. And it made me feel horrible for years because I was thinking, was I put there to stop that from happening? Or was I put there to, and I did what I thought was right at the time, not based on fear, based on all that stuff went through my head, right? The wife, kid, house, car, bills, responsibility. I have to deal with that first. And my perspective was I chose that perspective. But then that other stuff happened. And I don't know if I was involved or not involved, but I don't know if I was put there to stop that or not. And I had to let it go. Someone told me, you did what you had to do to take care of yourself and all your concerns at the moment. Don't sweat it. You didn't do it. You didn't go over to all those 7-Elevens. He did. And you were there. Don't know why, but you can't sweat it because you can't take responsibility for that guy's actions.
No.
And looking at it from the quantum look, right? Compared to the dude at the gas station, right? Was I put there to help him? Probably not, but I did. And was I put there to help those other people? I don't know. I'll never know. But
Well,
that
remember what I said about all the decisions that were possible being the right ones?
Yes.
They were all the right ones for you.
At the time, I had
the
to.
whole flow seat going right through your brain. You chose the one that seemed to be the most uh, expedient, and also the one where you both would go away from it alive. What
Yeah, the last part
what
of
if
that.
you had killed this man?
Yeah.
You could
What if?
have the
Yeah,
ability.
the last part of this, I left that out of the story. This was the last part. This was a kind of but it's kind of funny, right? I'm driving this truck. It has an airbag. I'm parked. Here's the dumpster. Here's the truck. Dude walks right in front of my truck. And I'm like, your little 9mm is not getting through this windshield. And I'm thinking, I don't want to replace an airbag. This airbag just saved your life. Airbag $600 to save to fix.
Yeah,
This
no.
airbag fix saved your life, buddy, because I could have pinned him against that dumpster. What's he gonna do?
Yeah.
Nothing. I could have bam, 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 and what would I had to pay? Probably a ticket for bad driving habits and an airbag. But I wasn't gonna do that. He had a
Well,
gun.
and knowing El Paso's thirst for justice, perhaps attempted murder.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I
or
backed
or
away.
negligent homicide.
Right. This
You
was
know,
I ended up backing out the whole parking lot. There was nobody there. It was 1 o'clock in the morning on like Saturday, and bars are all closed. Everything's closed. I just backed all the way out the parking lot, and he just stood there looking at me like,
well,
I'm like,
damn.
but it left me shook. But it was that later follow up.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got between a car and an immovable object practically. I'm like, this guy's stupid. This guy's just stupid.
Yeah, I would have had two different brand new guns, the way I see it. But yeah,
Yeah, car versus pickup. I mean, gun versus pickup truck. You know?
Yeah, my money's on the pickup.
Yeah. And it's not coming from a distance. It's already right there, running right in front of you, and you're gonna be like, I'm gonna be like, boom. If he'd have done something like that, but he didn't. I looked down at the airbag and I was like, oh my god, I literally thought that. I was thinking, dude, this airbag just saved your life, and I
You know,
left.
all of the things that we encounter as adults, that sometimes as kids too, but everything that we encounter is a multiple choice question. All of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And you get
Oh
to
yeah.
choose what fits you and what's correct. And I there's very little that is an absolutely, oh hell no, we're not choosing that one, depending on the circumstances. But you know, you you had an opportunity for several right answers. You had an opportunity for a couple wrong ones too, from the sounds of it. And you chose the one that was going to leave him alive and you alive too. What's
Yeah, and
wrong
that
with
was
that? There's
that was my
nothing wrong with
perspective.
that.
No, that was my perspective at the time. And
Right.
it was just the follow-up of that. It's like, oh my god, was I put in line to stop him? And I didn't. But I came to grips. I don't know if that was him, but it I can't take responsibility. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
He did it. Somebody did it. I didn't do it. Yeah, and
You
El Paso
didn't.
would have slammed me if I'd have done
Yeah,
anything with a
they
truck
sure
on
would
him.
have. But you you managed to get out of a no-win situation and won anyway,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you
Kind
won
of like a
anyway.
draw. It was a draw.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the best you can hope for is a stalemate.
Everybody lived.
Hmm.
You walked away from it. That's a win. Anything,
I
any crash you walk away from's a win.
Yeah.
mm,
Are
I
you
don't
Yeah,
know.
Big
certain
Cat
Shadow's
saying,
not sure. Shadow's
Yeah,
not
yeah. I
sure.
mean, if you're so badly mangled that you actually can't walk away from it, that might
That's
necessarily.
not a win. Anything you can walk away from is a win. You know,
any
and I'm not
landing.
saying and play absolutely safe on every single question, because that's not how it works. You
Yeah.
know,
I'm gonna
when
look at the
somebody
chat.
comes
See
up
what's.
to a woman and a child and snags her pocketbook on a bicycle and pedals as fast as he can, thinking she can't do anything about him. You know? And she
Mhm.
does anyway. She lets him get to the end of her purse strap and yanks him off the back of the bicycle, and kids yelling, "Get him, mama, get him, get him!" You know,
Mhm.
and
Joe's
Yeah,
got a
Big Cat.
question
I was
for us.
gonna highlight your comment.
Yeah, I
yeah.
have been taking care of that, but Joe's got a question.
That was not ignored, Joseph.
I, uh, Joe, I will contact you after the show, or if you would like to come on, your link is to you too. But the the quantum reached out, and I have to relay that to you. The mystical got back to me. We can talk about ancient tech. We can talk about India and Egypt, uh, Antikythera. We can talk about Greeks, but we're not talking about mine. I have to tell you that off air. Okay.
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 We'll
I'll
let
tell
you.
everybody off air. The only person I've had a chance to tell yet is Raven, and she knows why, right?
He's
I don't
ignorant.
remember.
So,
You might have.
yeah, Egypt. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to tell you either. I will offline.
Okay.
Encrypted email, maybe. I don't know. It's that big of a deal. Mm.
Well, so if you're going to
Join
send
my
me
VPN.
encrypted anything, send it to Frank. He'll let him sort
Right.
it out. Because I'm not tech savvy in this century, let alone somebody else's.
Mm-mm.
So anyway,
Okay. But yeah, perspective on at the time was take care of myself because people rely on me. That was my perspective. And you're
it's
right.
usually
We
mine.
all walked away from that encounter.
He
So
had an
it's a good one.
opportunity to change his mind, and he didn't do it. If that indeed was him,
Right.
you know,
Hmm.
he had an interruption. There was enough of an interruption to cause him to consider uh, the movement that he was about to do, and he didn't do it. That's all on him.
Yeah. I can't. And I came to the idea that his actions are not my actions.
No, they're not your responsibility. Are you sure that the other gas stations that got robbed and people got shot happened after your encounter with this individual
Yeah. Yeah,
and
because
not
it was at
beforehand?
yes, I'm
Mm.
sure. I
Okay,
timed
then.
everything. I looked up the news reports. It was on the news, and they talked about it on the news because that's the kind of thing that gets reported. Um, and it was about an hour after.
Mm.
So I got there's a chance it was him.
Mm-hmm.
There's
You
a
know,
chance.
you did what anybody would do. You know, weigh out your options. You chose the best option you could for the best outcome you could.
Yeah.
And that's really what we've been talking about. It's perspectives. You
Hmm.
know, you're looking at it as it was a failure, and I don't see it that way. I see it as an absolute success that didn't continue to be a success.
Hmm. It wasn't up to me later. It was up to
Mm.
him. I was leave, go home, and I did. But whatever he did was on him. If that was the
Oh
same
yeah.
guy, it's not on me, it's on him. I had to come to terms with that because as someone who is aware of the mystical and stuff, like, am I put in this situation for something? A lot of people call
Right.
that overthinking, but it isn't. Sometimes it isn't. A lot of times it isn't. Like, uh, well, just that situation. I was at the gas station. I was put in the situation where I had the presence of mind, thanks to one of those incidents, to help this guy out somehow, kind of take the edge off, right? And I think I did. I don't think anything happened after that except he got his gas and left, right?
Well,
So,
he might have made a much bigger
um,
mess for himself and others had you not taken that first encounter. You don't know. You'll never know.
Well, that's not
You're
true.
not.
yeah, and
What's
well,
not
I
true?
don't know the guy.
Well, you'll find out one day.
Well, I'm not on this side.
Well, yeah.
Even a psychic
I mean,
intuitive
unless you
can
can access
possibly.
the Akashic records, in which case you better bring me with them.
I would like to see those myself. I
Just,
wonder
just,
what heck I
just if
did
you smell smoke, Nathan, don't worry about it.
well,
There's a couple of bookshelves I need to dispose of.
well, and that's a lot of what many of us are here for this time is to try to figure out what was done in the past life that messed us up so badly in this one. you know, but
What did I do to deserve this? Right.
why am I on this penal colony and why can't I find my way off? you know, Frank's pretty sure
I
it's
think
a prison.
Rorschach said it best. Never
Please.
mind.
Horseshack.
Rorschach from The Watchmen.
Ro-
I'm not locked in here with you.
I
You're
don't
locked in here
recall.
with me.
Right. Yeah.
I like that.
Mhm.
You're not. That makes sense to me.
I pulled that, and I hadn't even seen the movie. Something happened. I was working at this is fairly
Greatest
recent,
movie of all
right?
time.
This
Greatest movie of all
person,
time.
I don't. Mhm. Something happened. I was a new cashier at Dollar General. This is fairly recently, and my drawer came up like 36 cents short, and I'm like, well, okay, whatever. Who cares? And then the next time I did my drawer, now the same manager did it twice, right? Here's what happened. She called me in the office. She says, "Nathan, your drawer was short $12." And I said, "Okay." I did just this. I stood up, I put the chair behind me, I shut the door. We're going to figure it out right now. She got scared because I wasn't in there with her at that point. She was in there with me. And I went half Batman on her. She got she was looking at me like, and I was
Oh,
standing up and I sat down slowly. We're going to figure this out right now. She got scared. My drawer was never short again.
no, it's that whole business of taking. Uh, it's so easy for the last guy on that drawer to pick up the shortage, and
Yeah. She was
if
shorting
you look
drawers.
at
No,
the
she was ripping off the store. She did that. She
uh,
had been doing it. They were watching her do it, and
I was
I
going to
knew.
point that out. That's exactly what I got from it. She
Yeah,
was taking.
yeah, she was doing that, and she was making everybody look bad. And several people got fired for that.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I was a new cashier, but I wasn't a new employee. I had been stock clerk, not cashier. And then they stuck me on cashier. And I wasn't in my first trial period. I had been there already. So they couldn't just, you're out, because I was beyond my company policy, beyond my trial period for the first some whatever days. And so she did
Managers
that to me.
especially have a lot
Mhm.
of power in that area.
Yeah. And I was like, I scared the hell out of her, and I'm glad. I don't know if she ever got busted for it or what, but she didn't get me in trouble that day.
Probably
She
not
literally-
again.
Yeah,
She didn't do it again, did she?
nope.
you.
My drawer was never short again, ever. And I was like, we're gonna figure this out right now. And I got quiet too. I got quiet, and I brought up all my sense of presence, and I was like, I'm going. I tried to go full Batman, but I think she would have just hit the alarm button or something. So I didn't do that. But yeah. Anyway, that's another little thing, that situation I was faced with, and you brought up the Watchmen. You're not in here with me, or I'm not in here with you. You're in here with me. I did that. I've done it in real life. It's cool. It was cool.
Well,
Sorry.
as long as it's not used, as the only bullet in the gun, But we've beat that thing to death. But perspective is everything.
Yeah, and the outside influences on us are so appealing. They're appealing and they're strong. And I found myself wanting to do the bandwagon thing, and wanting to do that because it's so appealing, so attractive. What do? You get acceptance. You get to vent your frustrations. You get to do all these
You
things.
become part of the mob.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
And I'm like, wait a minute. That's how I see it too. But it's really attractive. It's really appealing to go do that. And I'm busy cleaning my mind up. And
that's really the point too. People that get sucked into some of that, and it's really not who they are inside. That there are other ways for them, but they get caught up in the whole mentality of that. Forgot who they were, didn't know in the first place.
Yeah.
And now suddenly they're stuck on either being tossed back and forth between causes that they believe in and the rest of it. It's very difficult.
Okay. I'll be right back. Watch for ghosts.
We're watching for ghosts. Where are we watching for ghosts? At my house?
Ravens. I mean, they're already confirmed.
I'm already, yeah. It's confirmed I live in a haunted house. Yeah.
I know I am. Cats walking across the. I have a lot of animal ghosts. I have people too, but the animals seem to get out here first. Of course, we're coming close to the time of veil.
Yeah, I was going to say, we need to think of something cool to do here for Halloween.
Well, that and
I'm calling
next
costume
Wednesday
party.
we're gonna
Costume
sit
party.
down and have a nice long chat and a cup of tea. So we need to talk about how we're getting that together.
Yeah. Yep. I'll give you a call tomorrow.
And we'll invite, since the cat is away and the mice will play, we'll invite you on Wednesday, on the 20th of September. At what time?
7 Pacific, 9 Central.
Okay.
Yeah, probably Justin.
Yeah, for a nice chat about the old religion and how it works in practical living.
Yes. And we need to touch on love spells and the proper way and the responsible way to do a love spell.
I generally won't do them. That's all there is to it.
Well, I don't either. But
I mean for other people.
Screw them.
Can you make
They're
a
on their
love
own.
spell for me? Yeah.
They're on their own.
Shave, get your hair cut, look good.
I'm not doing any of that crap.
No, you probably aren't. But your beard is well trimmed and your hair is combed. Uh-huh.
It's an
I
illusion.
saw them. They swear I'm up to no
You
good.
can't see the stink lines on TV.
No, I don't think so. But anyway, it's love spells are kind of foolish. You don't want to attract the wrong person to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We need to cover those. All
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I'm happy to do any of it. It's too many people think they don't have the control they really have. You've got a terrific amount of control in who you accept in your life and who you won't.
Right.
And who you attract. We have our species depends a great deal on its on how things look to their eyes, how it feels to their ear, how it strokes the ego, or really about anything. But if they remind you of your favorite person, you just never know what's going to set off those bells.
Yeah. It could even remind you of, a movie star, a rock star, or, all those kinds of
And
it's so funny.
then you get all past all that, do they really have the qualities that you want?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Justin
No,
says the
after-
paranormal
and you know
exists
pretty
everywhere on Earth
quickly.
except Raven's house. Everything there are actually raccoons.
Everything's going great. And find out, oh my God, it's a crazy cat woman. That this house is a crazy dog woman.
Ouch! I just got
I'm sure
clawed
that
in the
there are
back.
those who are crazy about hamsters and gerbils.
This is where I say compassion is a curse. It started off, one or two came up from the woods that they had been, dumped. Well, of course they were female and they were pregnant, and so 2 turned into 10 real quick.
Oh,
Yeah.
The gift that keeps on giving. Yeah, no thanks. I'll
Yeah.
pass.
Well, I can't let anything starve. I'm not good. I can't.
I can't either.
I can't do it. It's just not.
I have never seen a cat starve to death. They're built with hunting tools. They will do just fine.
I have.
I will
Where they've
say
been
I
abused
have. Yeah.
and dumped. Yeah, and they're starved. And yeah, of course I'm gonna. I would do that for a dog too.
By the time they're down like that, they're too weak to hunt.
Yeah.
Maybe they've never had to hunt ever, and somebody
That's
let them off.
exactly it. They probably have never had to, and
They'll
don't know.
find
Not
something.
very good at it.
Yeah.
And
Because they're in the wild, they will hunt. Yeah, in the wild, but gee whiz. Oh yeah, you hate dogs, Joe. Sure you do. Somebody would look cross-eyed as dog, you'd probably have a fit.
Raven's real good at that.
But
looking cross-eyed.
Yeah.
Really.
It's just
we made a shameless plug for Raven's show on Wednesday.
Okay.
And Joe says that
totally shameless plug. She
like
has
dogs.
a link that lives in my.
Let's see. I had a house cat escape as a child. Showed back up a month later with what? Oh, I missed it. I missed
blood on its cheeks and a pound heavier.
She got with the program real fast, didn't she?
Yeah. You can't save them all. If you want to help out, you got to go to the source of the problem, and that's to the city council or at a higher level. Trying to take it all on yourself, you're just going to end up being the crazy cat lady, and then everybody will just take advantage of you. You got to make it easier for people to dispose of their pets and find a new home.
When they're dropping off stray animals, you know.
Yeah. So That's the thing. Ever since I moved here to the woods,
glitch.
people dump their animals out here, and there's the Humane Society here is just absolutely the most useless organization I've ever
That's why
dealt with.
you have to bring it to people's attention above them.
Well,
Yeah.
here you have
you
to
could
pay
do
them to take an animal.
yeah, and that's when you leave them on the front door of City Hall and say, you deal with it. And they will. Problem solved.
And by the way, here's a nice fat ticket for you.
Well, that's why you don't drive there.
Well, how are you going to bring them in?
You get your ninja garb on and you put them in a duffel bag and you leave the duffel bag.
Yeah. All right.
I worry about you. I really do.
Well, all right. Then you just show up in your ninja outfit, and I'll give you a couple cats, and you can do that for me. Help me out.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll just get on my bike and ride right on over.
You leave it slow down on your way by, huh?
Hey, at least I'll drop the duffel bag off at City Hall and not off the nearest bridge.
Yeah, I've seen that. Seen that happen.
Oh wow.
That's how I ended up with 5 cats one day. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
drove to the
the
river and
problem's
pulled
never
them out.
going to end unless people get, alerted to the bigger problem, because eventually you could literally be looking at a situation where there's thousands of cats roaming the city.
Mm-hmm.
And
then
the
what?
problem than the
I
rest.
work with a trap neuter release organization, so they're sterilized. They do that at a discount when you can get in with the TNR people. They're helpful.
Yeah,
That guy
it's
does
called
that.
dark humor. It's like food in Russia. Not everybody gets it.
What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, it's just joking. It's just joking. Dark humor, sarcasm. It's okay.
Oh,
It's all
very
good.
dark. I would never
Yeah.
harm a hair on an animal's head or allow anyone else to do so in my presence.
What about chickens?
Yeah.
I can't even slaughter a chicken.
I don't think
I
I could
really
either.
can't.
Well,
Cindy, she's got to go above the rescue shelters, and like I said, go to City Hall or something.
These
Because
places are all
that every solution I've ever heard is just prolonging the inevitable, and eventually, eventually the problem will supersede even her and 20 other people's ability to take care of.
well, a lot of the big thing is that people forget the Humane Society is not an entity in and of itself. It answers to City Hall
Yeah.
or the county seat.
So they
Guess
have
who their boss is? You see,
Yeah, I mean,
you
there's
gotta find their
these.
chain of command and start yanking it.
it's a real mess here because you go to the county animal control and they say go to the Humane Society. Now they're located on the same road, a couple feet
That's
away.
why you go in
What
with a
the heck?
camera. Go in with a camera and film them both, and then make a big old video and blast it out to everybody you know.
Yeah, and send a nice
yeah.
copy
Give it to the
mayor.
news.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And they just they
Yeah,
really
Amazon
bounce
sells
back
these
and
little
forth
cameras for like
is what they do.
yeah, Amazon sells these little cameras that have decent audio for like $20. You can it's real good to have
I'm
those.
not looking to make any enemies with the city.
Well, that's where you go in disguise.
And
Dye your hair blonde.
Blonde wig. It's
There you go.
Halloween. Get a purple wig.
Hell yeah.
Sure. Great.
Or
Be
I don't know,
Batman.
wear a mask. Just wear one
Wear
of the
wear a
In a
cat
mask, right?
suit and a pair of little ears and whiskers. Say, now what are you gonna do?
no, you just get one of your and 95 masks and a beanie and a big puffy jacket.
I'm laughing at Justin's. Oh my God. Oh God, that's horrible. I can't
I
read
No,
don't
that.
want to bother Nancy.
I'm gonna pass on the rice and beans.
I could go for some rice and beans. Not right the moment, but yeah.
I can go for another cheeseburger though.
That's certainly a concept. The dirty rice, I would have a thought.
Yeah, as have I, Cindy.
Red beans, yeah. Dirty rice, that sounds good. You ever had that, Nathan?
Red beans and dirty rice? Oh, yeah.
Isn't that good?
I'm looking
You
up
have it made
Catwoman
by
costumes.
but made by the right
Mhm.
person. Oh my god.
Hey, you see, you and Justin
Be
do have something in
self-propelled for
common.
the rest of the day.
Nathan, ask Justin for some cat pictures. He'll make
this
your
is
day.
perfect.
Oh. Oh my, catfish, yeah. That sounds good.
Or French
We're
toast.
gonna have
French
our
toast is always
segment
good.
of the cooking part of our show.
Every live stream evolves into a cooking show at some point or another. It is basically law. It's written into the YouTube terms of agreement.
I think everybody did. That's one of the big culture and society thing. Eating is very integral to everything, whether it's a family get together or making policy at White House. Meal is involved. Probably. That was sound. Okay.
Justin,
All right.
I'm 100% certain of
Sitting
that. As well.
here, Rice Krispie treats. That sounds good too, doesn't it?
Yeah, but there's a better way to make them. You've got when you make Rice Krispie treats, you've got to mix. Excuse me, 1/2 Rice Krispies regular and 1/2 chocolate.
Ooh, that's a good
Chocolate
one.
Rice Krispies like Cocoa Pebbles or the generic version bumps it up to the next level because everything goes better with chocolate.
The way
Especially-
my mom used to make them.
especially
My
bacon.
mother made very few things. She was not a good cook and didn't pretend to be.
So yeah,
But
know the feeling.
groundhog, yeah. Ugh. Anyway, um, she would literally make her own sugar syrup and make them. Yeah, that's what I was talking about right there. But
I'm pretty sure Raven would
have
wear
you
that
ever
better.
eaten groundhog? Shadow?
Pardon?
Have you ever
I haven't.
eaten groundhog?
Groundhog?
Yes.
No. I stick to chickens, cows, pigs, and occasionally goat.
Yeah, well, my ex enjoyed hunting, and our table would have rabbit, squirrel, occasional groundhog. If he bring home a groundhog, I'd hand him the slow cooker, and I said, "You just go right ahead and clean him right out in the
I
backyard."
was going to say, yeah, you don't want to cook him with the fur.
Not a groundhog. They have a stench to them that is unreal.
Well, I live near LA, so I could believe anything.
Well, where I'm from, does your term roadkill mean anything to you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Joe.
swerve.
Yeah,
My
Joe gave me.
father-in-law.
Yeah, I don't know if he knows someone, but if he still knows the person. Elk would get run over by these tractor trailers, and they would
Yeah,
be on the side of the road. Elk are enormous animals. Okay, elk are
huge.
big. They're the size of cars, and they would be on the side of the road. Well, this person would go and butcher them or dispose of them as needed, depending on condition and stuff. Like if it
Hmm.
was rancid, no, but if it
Of
was
course not.
needed to be put down the rest of the way or was dead but fresh, it's an elk. It's not
Yeah.
a little critter. This thing is enormous. If anybody knows how big an elk is, you
Hmm.
know that they are freaking enormous. Okay,
And Raven
they're
went to go
almost
make
as
herself
big.
a sandwich.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. They're as big as like a small moose. Do you know how big a
Right.
moose is? The moose is like if a
They're over a
moose
ton.
to an elk. Yeah, a moose to an elk is like a fire truck to a minivan, right? And he would get, he loaded up the back seat of my car with frozen elk, ground elk meat. And I was like, oh yeah, Joe, thank you again for that. That was amazing meat. And it was
Mm.
so lean. There's no
Oh
fat.
yeah.
I mean, none. It's like,
Our
you
household
put,
had to
Nothing
the
wrong with fat.
my father-in-law. We were meat poor one year, and
mhm,
he brought a big freezer full of deer, elk. Um, gosh, what else did he bring? It was big antelope. Very much a hunter. My father-in-law, and we ate on that thing for a year. Ate
Edgar, are we going to find out
from it.
tonight what happens when you give vodka to a rabbit? Or is
I
that
know
part
what
of it?
happens. I know what happens. That's when you have to break out the holy hand grenade. I went there. I went there.
And Raven missed it. Raven missed it. And
Yeah.
Raven. And that was that.
I wasn't particularly good at game meat ahead of that, but I learned to be. And it was all right. We could eat well, and we did eat well, very well. And you know that to be true, Nathan. The
hmm
groundhog, I wouldn't cross the street for a groundhog. You know it.
I haven't ever had it. There was a place when I was a kid down the road, and uh, they were from the country, like old. They were from Louisiana,
Oh
and they
yeah.
would get local contacts, local hunters. And when I was a kid, it was still city, but the hunting places were not that far. There's one right down the street from me, and it's called Hunter's Trail. It's private, and they would buy the local game, and depending on the week in the season, you could get deer, squirrel, raccoon, just whatever was out there. Whatever the hunters bagged, they would bring it to this restaurant. Local
Have you
codes
ever
didn't
had
like that.
skunk? Have
I
you
have
ever
not.
had skunk? No.
I have not.
It's it's real crucial to, of course, get them before they've had a chance to be upset with you or scared. But if they haven't let off their love bomb, why they're not bad eating at all. And if you're hungry, they eat much better if you're hungry. I will say that. If you
I
get
could
past what they
imagine.
are, but it's we've gone a long way away from our roots in that matter. Where it's in this area, the Indians would have rattlesnake and be perfectly happy doing it. I believe that Joe might have had some of that. And sidewinders. Now those are not native to this area, but some idiot brought them. Camels too, for that matter. And from what I understand, camel is fine.
Mhm.
Bring me a rabbit, we'll find out. Okay. I had a couple of rabbits in the freezer one year and made them up for Thanksgiving dinner. And it was good because my sister absolutely wrecked her Thanksgiving turkey, and that's what we had for Thanksgiving. Mincemeat.
How do you do that? You
I'm
fall
going to
asleep and wake
share. I
up the
found a
next
picture of an
day?
elk.
Turkey's easy.
I know it is,
I mean,
but
it's like
you really can't go out dancing the night before and sleep in the next morning and put it on at 500 and it work. Okay, you just can't do it.
no, that's true.
Excuse me. Yeah, the two of them couldn't find their way out at that time. It, in the refrigerator with both hands to search. So, yeah, there. Joe says he's eaten a snake or two, but they decided that a frozen turkey would thaw itself, given
Oh, just
enough time at 500. I came in. I said, "What the heck is burning in here?" Just Beth says I got it under control. Now remember, she'd been out all night the night before, having a little bit of fun, and I don't think she would have done that had she been entirely sober. But we won't go there. But 500 was cranked up on the stove, and I looked at it and I turned around and I said, "Did you take the giblets out?" She goes, "The what?" I said, "The giblets." You know, the neck, the liver and that and the heart and all that. And she goes, "Well, no, it was frozen." I go, "You put a frozen turkey in the oven? Swear to God, you did that?" She goes, "I sure did." And I goes, "Oh my God. How can we salvage this?" Because my folks were coming to her house for the celebration, and
Hey, Tim.
there was nothing to feed them.
That's when you go to the nearest Chinese restaurant.
Oh, there wasn't one at that time. You know, there wasn't there wasn't even a Denny's. No, I'm sorry, that's not right because Dad called me afterwards and he goes, "You want to go out for dinner?" I goes desperately. He said, "Well, let's go." He goes, "That Thanksgiving meal was something to write home about, and none of it was good." I
Can
suppose
people see
that,
the screen I'm sharing?
yeah, that's a moose. That's a moose.
Oh, that's a moose. My bad. Sorry about that. That
Is
is
it a
a
moose
moose.
or
Well,
an elk? Ask Frank. Frank's the moose
it
or an
says
elk?
an elk. The picture says an elk.
Put it back. Put it
But
back up. I
yeah,
don't
let me
think
get it
he's
back up.
on that space. Is it a moose? It's an elk. Okay, I'm sorry. It's an elk.
Yeah,
Big,
that's an
big
elk. See, they're
safety.
huge. They're enormous. That's a
Yeah,
big
big
elk,
safety
to
tip.
be fair.
Yeah, big safety tip though. If you want to leave the area alive, and there's moose or elk, I think is it elk that do that or moose, Frank? Uh, well, are unhappy with truckers. The blowing
I
the
can't
horn.
stand duck, Justin.
Okay, a moose. Yeah, a moose isn't going to have it if you honk a horn at him, particularly not a truck horn. It will chase a truck for miles. I mean, and it won't give up either, and it will wreck the truck.
All right. I'm gonna look for another acceptable picture of a moose because there seems to be some.
Elk. Frank says it's
Of,
an
of
elk.
an elk.
You can
Yeah.
pretty well bank on it being one.
That's what Google said it was.
I have a firm policy in place. If it's bigger than I am, I'm not hanging around. That's all there is to it. I'm not going to get on first name basis with
Mhm.
it. You know, that's all there is to it. Yeah, that's Joe's
Yeah,
saying it
elk.
looks
I've
like
seen
timber on her up around
videos
here.
of elk, these giant animals,
Yeah, I thought it
jumping
was a
an
moose
interstate,
too, Cindy.
jumping across an interstate.
Yeah, I've had that happen to me on the highway in Ohio. And of course, we were out of town a good ways, and a deer jumped on my car and literally catapulted off of it. And I was running 60. It was a huge animal. It was a big one. Didn't even leave a mark on the car.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just basically used me for a stepping stone. I'm like, thank God I didn't hit it. And I guess Frank's ex hit a
What the-
bear one time.
What?
Total
Moose, elk,
run
zombie,
over.
ninja, pirate, robots.
What?
I don't know. I just highlighted it.
Been drinking too much tonight? What?
What's up,
No,
Brad?
he's being.
He'd being facetious, I know. So you
Here
don't
comes
know
another
Frank
picture.
or me
There is an elk.
are bigger than ULA. Well, yeah. But you know, I have trouble with that. I never met anybody who could intimidate me particularly. A moose can.
That's an S. Yeah, that's an SUV.
Yeah,
That's a full size SUV.
and that's an elk.
Looks like an Acura. That's an elk.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely an elk this
I'm
time.
kind of at a disadvantage because small details. I guess what we'll just tell the people that are looking at that I
Mhm.
am 5'2" if I stretch real good, and Frank is 6'5", and Joe is 6'2", 6'3". Depends on how good the
Something.
boots are. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember Frank towering over me. I was like,
Yeah,
There's no flying squirrel.
he does that impression really well.
It's in the genes.
Is there a flying squirrel in this conversation,
There's no flying squirrel.
or a Russian spy? I don't think so. Not last I looked.
Is it weird that I thought Natasha was hot as a kid?
Oh yeah,
She was supposed to be, and it worked.
And
I thought so
Boris.
too. I was like, oh man, Natasha. Here comes Natasha.
I never much cared for that particular cartoon, but I loved Bugs Bunny and drag.
Yeah. I tried to tell people Bugs Bunny used real classical music. It's real.
yeah.
And they were like, no, they made that for the show. I'm like, dude, really?
No, the Barber of Seville was one of those. Golly, oh yeah, the Valkyries, the flight
Flight
of
of the
Valkyries.
Valkyries.
Yeah,
Yeah, they had a
all
bunch of.
dressed up in a pointy bra and big flopping eyelashes and
Mm-hmm. They had all of that. Oh, and by the way, elk. Speaking of elk, since we got elk as a topic, a lot of people who hear what they can't identify something in the woods, it's an elk. The loud, high pitched screaming, that's an elk.
no, that was
I've heard it.
me. I promise it was.
Okay. I've heard elk a lot of times in lots of different situations,
Oh yeah.
and they do not sound. You expect them to go moo because of the,
Oh,
have a deep voice because they're so big. No, they have very high pitched calls.
yeah. Now
People
moose
mistake
have
it.
trumpets. Moose
Right.
trumpet.
That's a moose, and a moose is known. People don't mistake moose for Bigfoot. They mistake elk for Bigfoot. All high pitched scream. That is an elk. A lot of these
Mm,
short TikTok videos I see that they're like slapped ham. They're talking about what is this high pitched thing in the woods, and you have this guy with this shaky camera going, "What is that noise?" It's an elk. Go
yeah.
home. It's an elk. Just don't get in
And
his
if
way because
everything
he's
stops, if if you hear a scream and I'm like a woman scream and everything stops in the woods,
yeah. It's
you
not an
better
elk.
leave too. That's
Yeah,
not an
that's
elk.
not an elk.
Cat. And it's
Hmm,
fixing to eat something and you don't want to be it. You
hmm.
know? They're stalking somebody or
Yeah,
something. You don't want to be
and
the guest of honor at their barbecue, that's for sure.
right. And oh, little, I don't know if I updated the show on East Tennessee. I went to my buddy's
Mm,
house and he was finding traces and tracks and things.
right.
Um, I told him it's an alien, right? Don't mess with it. It's not a Bigfoot. It's pretending to be a cow. Did I tell you all that one?
I don't think so. Do you
Okay.
remember?
All right. Here we go. Right. Shingoji, member of the chat sometimes, right?
Hmm.
We went to the Bigfoot convention and he was like, "Yeah, there's something out here," and he showed me pictures. I've showed the pictures out here on here in the snow, the footprint in the snow. Do
Yeah.
y'all recall that one? Okay, I
Yeah.
showed that picture, and they're legit. You can't explain it. Somebody with a size 14 shoe, barefoot in the snow, but it didn't look like a human, right? Well, it's not a Bigfoot either. It's pretending to be a cow. The local legend is somebody's got a cow loose at night at 12:30. They don't do that. They don't. Cows have are daytime creatures. I can go
Mm,
out and the cows over here are huddled up in a little, either in
yeah.
a
They don't
sleeping.
wander.
Yeah, not at night because
No, they
they
go to
can't.
sleep.
Yeah, and 12:30 at night, there's a cow walking around. People have heard it, and I brought this up to Keith, and he says he saw the picture of the print, and he heard the description. He's like, "Yep, that's uh some animal." He said well, not an animal. It's an alien. It's a transplanted alien. Owara, Owara. It's in
Oh
his
wow.
species book, an Owara, and it looks like a Bigfoot, comes across like Bigfoot. It is not. They are transplanted
Well,
aliens.
I
Mhm.
know this is a ridiculous question, and I'm going to be sorry for asking it. And Joe says it wasn't him, even though he does have not his size 14. But the what in the world could they hope to gain by transplanting an animal of that sort here?
Not an animal. He told me that these guys came over long time ago, and they are not animals. they're the sentients, but they have a certain outlook, and they do have technology. They just choose not to use it. They have settled here, but they're not in the same frequency as us, except sometimes sound.
Unless they mean to
And
be. Okay.
right, they mean to, like Bigfoot, right? Like a Bigfoot, but they are not friendly. Bigfoot, you can establish a rapport with, not these guys. These guys want to be left alone. I think he has found where it stays. So I need to tell him, stay away from it. Let it do
Leave
its
it.
mooing. Let him be the local legend. There are no
Yeah.
okay. When he said it was a cow, I'm like, I went there and I'm like, okay, I got questions. Who's the farmer? Where is this pasture that he goes to? Where does he belong? He's rogue. He's a rogue cow. Where's the farmer? There ain't no farms close to there where a cow would just pop in and visit. You know?
Well, and most people don't realize that the most cattle that a farmer keeps is a dairy cow, or
Mhm.
or cattle. Cattle would be something that you're raising for
For food
slaughter
for slaughter.
later in the year. Yeah, and they don't realize that a dairy cow in particular is not going to go away from a farmer.
Mm-mm.
I mean, they're just not.
Alone?
They're no, they're not, and I'll tell you why they won't. They have to be milked every single day. If they don't milk, if there's no calf to take that milk from them,
They stop.
they it's not just that they stop giving milk, they'll become ill. They could die from it.
Yeah.
A busted udder is no joke.
Yeah. Doesn't it get infected on the inside?
It gets hard like cheese. It has to
Mm.
be opened up, removed. It's miserable for them, just miserable.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see a dairy cow necessarily leave her farmer. She knows that that's got to come out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've seen dumb bunnies have tried to butcher a dairy cow, and that they are the positively you do not eat these guys. When they're done with their lives, they're sent for dog food or something of that nature. That's just being real. Don't hate me. But the uh, the dairy cow is not going to leave their farmer or their herd. It's
Right.
not going to happen.
So I asked him these questions, and he's like, "Huh? I never thought about that." I'm like, "Dude, you're from here. You should know these things too, and you're into
People don't though.
ufology and aliens and stuff. Ask the questions. Ask what's the cow doing? Where's the farm at? The closest farm is like 5 miles away, and ain't no cow gonna just strut 5 miles without first getting stopped or picked up, stolen, or something, because it is an agricultural area. There are farms 5 miles away, and if there's a rogue cow, somebody's getting a free cow, unless it's tagged,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or it gets returned.
Yeah,
And
that happens there. Here, when an animal is rustled, if it is rustled, it can be by somebody coming up from the south,
mhm,
who's hungry and doesn't realize how that's done. They often don't. Many of these people are from a city, but
mhm,
rustling still happens out here quite a bit.
yeah. Well,
Whether and believe it or not, the laws in New Mexico and I believe in Texas, either one, you could still get shot for a rustler, and nobody's gonna raise an eyebrow. you
mm,
know.
yeah.
But
There are some laws on the books here too. I don't know what they are, but
well,
I'm
probably
kind
more
of not
about
into that
stolen
business.
horses. But yeah, of course not. But it's rustling is shoot, around here I've heard of a certain party having their goats taken,
Mhm.
and that's of course a delicacy here.
You know.
But
Oh, that
there's
reminds me. People get pigs stolen here quite a bit.
mm-hmm,
And well, not here, but 10 miles away.
in the area,
Yeah,
in
10
the
miles away.
rural area.
People steal pigs, and and pigs are a lot smaller to deal with. Not like you don't need a big operation to butcher a cow. Like, well, you
Yeah.
need a big operation to butcher a cow, not a pig. You can do that.
Well, as long as they're not the size of a javelina.
Mhm. Right, not those
Those
guys.
guys are huge.
Yeah, I also heard they're not very good eating. They're horrible tasting. I
Joe
heard
says,
that.
hang 'em high.
Yeah. But there is no loose cow in Tennessee going through neighborhoods with strip malls and highways
Uh-uh.
and little streets in neighborhoods bending fences. Okay, here's the other things that happen.
Hey,
Fences
Chad
get,
Smith.
hey, Chad, bending fences, braiding branches, leaving footprints, and get caught looking in windows, and it's 7 feet tall. They don't do that. That's not a cow. It's also not a Bigfoot, because if it was Bigfoot, that's Bigfoot country, right? But this thing has taken up residence where he lives in his
Yeah.
neighborhood. He moved into it, and he noticed it right away.
I would say the best thing for that particular situation is leave it alone.
Yep, just leave it alone.
You
Don't
know?
no gifting rocks, no gifting stuff. Don't try to detect it. I need to tell him this. I need to tell him
He
this
might
part.
end up on the table,
Hmm.
or however
And
they eat. He
what?
might,
Yeah, what
if
Keith
they don't
said
leave him be.
was, "What are you going to leave him? A child?" Because they're not friendly. They
No, you
they
leave
they
him be.
yeah, they entertain these Awara things. They entertain themselves, and they stick to their dimension. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell him, leave
No,
it
if that's
alone, dude.
what he is,
Yeah, leave him
you
alone.
should be letting be.
Yeah, he's only entertaining himself, so it's okay. And
Go for treating college students. I don't know. Yeah, it could be a number of things, not this particular thing. Like
yeah,
kids playing pranks and things like that. And of course, kids are ingenious
well,
at some of this.
some of it, yeah, but some of this
Yeah.
stuff is
Well, they have
inexplicable.
the internet. I mean, all they got to do is, in an average day, just do a little bit of surfing and come up with the fact that in the 20s during Prohibition or 30s, they would take cattle hooves and attach them to their shoes
Hmm.
and walk around with them to
Hmm.
keep the revenuers, the guys from the IRS, from detecting their still,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
charging them with tax evasion and violating prohibition
yeah,
since they were boiling certain commodities in their stills and furnaces.
yeah. Okay, well, y'all, it has been a good show.
I
We
was
covered
hoping
a
that Ray
whole
would
bunch
come
of
back.
stuff. Let's see. Let's go down the checklist. Perspectives.
There she is.
We covered perspectives, in time and in responsibility. We got our food channel fix going, and we even got a Monty Python reference in there. So
Yeah.
I'd say we did pretty good tonight.
The Ministry of Silly Walks.
Oh God. We
And
had
the
a little
holy hand grenade.
catastrophe.
Oh yeah.
Little
So,
catastrophe with
oh boy.
broken
Cat-
glass. So I had to get the shop vac out. I had to take care of the broken glass immediately, so I
Okay.
apologize for being
That's
absent so
okay.
long.
Hope you were able to listen. It was good.
Yeah, I did get to listen to some of it
Yeah,
Okay.
fun.
until I had to turn the shop back on. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to keep that as a little, just a polite announcement to wrapping up the show. Wrap up. Just wrap up.
Yeah.
And
wrap up.
because it's been 2 hours and we've covered the topic. And yeah. Let me see here. So everybody, let's see. I'm reading. What am I looking at?
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
As always,
So
we want to thank the audience and thank them for their participation.
yes,
Without
thanks
them, we
everybody
don't
for
have a
coming.
show.
Mm-hmm.
I try
Yeah.
to engage. When you chat, I try to reply, say thank you, say hello, something. And I try to welcome everybody to the show. If I miss you, and I'll take from Richie right here. Doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means we got a show to do. Okay. and yeah, we covered a bunch of stuff tonight. And thanks everybody for coming by. Have a great rest of the
Absolutely.
weekend. It is going on 1 a.m. here. We've been
Sure
at this
is.
for over 2 hours. And I know it's later in some places, earlier in others. So, yeah, that's it. Peace out, like Tim says. And everybody, be sure to keep it quantum. Watch what's going on, but don't let it affect you. Don't let it push you over the edge. Don't let the bandwagon people sway your thoughts. And don't let anyone change your outlook on you, because you are quantum. Your quantum link is the basis of everything. Okay, y'all. Talk to y'all later. Thanks for coming to the
Right.
panel, guys.
See you next
Thank
time.
you.
Trails.
See you next time. Okay, don't hang up. All right, out of here. Keeping it quantum. Out. Pushing them buttons.
I'll talk to you later, Justin.